Hello, this is a Chessodoro game review. This was a 10-minute game on Chess.com between strong players. White 2300, black 2400 rating. Student is playing white. So he started with c4 and says to me, so I started to play the English opening recently, so I'm not well versed in the theory. Actually, I play also English from time to time. It's like a reverse dragon, especially if you go early g3, and also tried classical games with this botvinnik setup like you do in the game. So in my opinion, very flexible system. I learned it from Marin books and also some Chessable courses like Simon Williams' Iron English, actually. Yeah, so let's check out how this English went for you. Knight c3. Also, I like even to start with g3, just delaying this. Yeah, maybe in some variations. Most of the time we will need it, yeah, but sometimes we can skip this move for a moment. Knight c3, knight c6, g3, e5. So black immediately is playing this botvinnik setup, yeah, it's e5, kind of freezing the center. So, but I think this e5 so early might be not such a great idea, actually. You played all the typical moves, and now you went for this double botvinnik, yeah, symmetrical position. Here actually we have some options. You could go a3, for example, immediately, yeah, delaying this e4 with a sneaky idea b4. This is often a nice sacrifice idea. For example, if they don't stop it, yeah, with a5, they could be in trouble. Yeah, the sacrifice is powerful, and we could gain like this, yeah, if bishop e7, maybe just castle d4, some compensation, of course. And if bishop g7, we can immediately strike and open this diagonal. So yeah, and if we can maybe even play d4 here instead of bishop e3, yeah, another option could be like this, and we win back the pawn with some compensation on open lines, similar like in Catalan probably, yeah. So a5 they should play, and then instead of like you did in the game with e4, you could start with e3 and go immediately for this d4 break like this, and very interesting lines are arising here. And I also like included a PGN of all these types of moves. Yeah, you can choose, you can check the theory there. I'll include you in the PGN study, so you can check out different types of ideas. Like, for example, you could play just normally, yeah, without even e4. And this maneuver is important. Knight d2, knight f1 going to d5, yeah, for example, like this. So you could play it classically, yeah, but you chose to do same thing as black does, yeah. Here you are both playing botvinnik setup, so it's kind of symmetrical game. So white might have just tiny advantage, yeah, because they move first, and this happens. So totally symmetrical so far, yeah. And you played a3, and you say, in the symmetrical English variation, I usually go for the setup with fianchetto light square bishop and rook b1 pushing b5 for space, maybe king h3, king h2 included, which does not happen in this game. Yeah, this b4 is a typical break, yes, and center got closed, so we have two breaks, b4 or f4. So you go for this b4 first, which is good. Opponent played this h6, which I don't think is useful. If some bishop g5 trying to escape, they always have this f6, so this h6, I'm not sure if it's needed. Better move, I think, for black is this a6, trying to copy us still further. Something like this might happen, actually. And bishop g5, still theory continues. You can check more in the PGN, yeah, how to play with white, how to squeeze something out of this. So yeah, so h6, you continue with the plan b4. I think if they stop us with a5, then we have this nice b5 square, and some play with connected with knight b5, some interesting play with white also in the study. Yeah, you can learn more theory there. So rook b8, and you go, and this allowed us b4. Yeah, so we play it, and we have more space. And now excellent move b5, gaining even more space. Yeah, and kicking this knight out of there. So in general, I would like, you say in general, I would like to know the approach after b5. What minor piece would ideally trade off? Would I better be off in the endgame if I'm knight versus bishop? Well, of course, yeah. This b5 is an excellent idea, gaining space. And what I would like to achieve is exchange all the pieces except maybe leave the knight for us and this terrible bishop on g7, yeah, for opponent. So this would be like dream scenario for me. And let me show you quickly one example where this is kind of similar, yeah, to this structure. This example. So this is like from a trading course. It's called weak square, and you see we want to get this weak square on d5. So you can maybe pause the video if you want to solve this. How can we achieve it? Yeah, how can we remove some defenders? So the right move is, we could start with bishop f6, but the right move is knight h4. First we exchange the defender of this light square, yeah, the bishops, and usually in botvinnik this bishop is even closed with e4, yeah, so good exchange for us. Then we are ready to exchange our bishop, which is not fighting for d5, yeah, this knight is, so we exchange another defender right here, yeah, another defender of d5, and finally we go with the knight in, occupy this weak d5 square. And our next idea is to exchange final knights, yeah, and get this nice knight versus bishop situation. So I think this will make more clear, yeah, what happened in the game, what to do. So let's get back. b5, he played knight a5. Knight is badly placed here, I think. He should have went knight d4, yeah, and do this sort of thing. But we have some sort of space advantage on the king side, and we can play on this flank now. Yeah, try to organize some attack. This space also helps us a bit, so I think white is slightly better here. But yeah, knight a5, I would have went knight d4 with black myself. So knight a5, this knight is awful on this side of the board. Yeah, you went immediately knight d5, but this is a closed position, yeah, so you could slowly improve in other ways. You could, for example, just play bishop d2, play it slower, yeah, keep improving pieces and something like this, waiting for f5, then you can, yeah, open the center at the right moment, yeah, your pieces stand better. This knight is bad, so you should have something here. Knight d5, he went bishop e6. Instead, he should have taken, I think, cd, yeah, we don't want to allow here the pawn, same thing, yeah, for black, this pawn kind of majority on the king side. So we take with the c pawn, and here if he plays c4, we have this sort of thing, very nice maneuver with the knight going to a2 and b4, for example. If he stops that for a moment, we could prepare it, yeah, like, and if we land on c4, we would be clearly better. So yeah, instead of c4, this move, he could maybe maneuver some rook on c7, but then we can still continue, yeah, improving pieces. We might even take at some moment this knight. So in the game happened bishop e6, bishop d2, and he went knight b7, another dubious move. This knight is terrible on b7, yeah. He should have at least allowed you to take this knight, yeah. Your bishop is much better than this knight, so he wouldn't care, yeah, about that knight getting exchanged. So, and overall he should have went for something like this again, like maybe white has some slight advantage here, yeah, but black is just has one problem with this knight. So instead you went for this other knight, yeah, to support d5. Could play also not let him exchange anything, yeah, since you have slight space advantage. And just go back and prepare some slow play on the king side, maybe a 4 at the right moment. Yeah, prepare a long maneuvering game here. So, but you went here, and he lashed out with f5. Always we are kind of waiting who plays f4 or f5 first, yeah. So I think this is dubious for black, because by opening the game excellent move now, yeah, taking the pawn. I think black creates some weaknesses around the center, so now our play should be focused on the light square. So for example, if he took with the pawn, we have typical move f4 and pressuring these pawns. If he took with the bishop, we could go this, and similar on the light squares, yeah, play. So in the game happened knight f4, knight f5, and you went queen c1. So you say, I do not have a clear attacking plan in this game, and I know I wasted quite a lot of time rerouting my pieces. So I would like to know the plans and breaks I should be aiming for in this structure, and also for black as well, and what to do, what to watch out for. So when we push b5, we already gained space, yeah. And the only break for black was this f5, which was not actually so good, as it weakens the position, yeah. Okay, he gets d4 point, but this get terribly weakened. And what is this knight doing, yeah, on b7? And you get kind of open game at the moment, and you should play on the light squares here. So for example, instead of queen c1, better move was just to control these light squares, yeah. Put the bishop here, and we're intending light square play now. g4 is coming, so some example line could be queen here, g4, knight h4. We just need to make sure there is no tactics yet, just to control the position. Something like even f3, yeah. We're not scared about king safety because we have all these pieces around us. So we just entrench this bishop here, yeah, outside the pawn chain, yeah. These squares are super weak, and we play through them. And at the same moment, we might even organize some attack, yeah, on the king side. Now this knight is hanging, maybe some tactic, yeah. If we take, they take back. But then we can still play many moves. We could slowly improve, like, yeah, bring the king to safety, improve some rook maybe here, yeah. Some improvements, or we could just play f4, immediately blow it open, yeah. Like this, many plans, but the position got opened, yeah. But our pieces are standing better basically because of that. So this f5 looks like natural break for black, yeah, but it's not so great. So game continued, queen c1, king h7, knight back. He went to d4, and now you kind of started playing a bit passively, yeah. So you didn't have a clear plan. So instead, yeah, you should have went for this light square play. And now the game is kind of, you had advantage previously, but now it disappeared because you went a bit passive here, yeah. You should still go back to this d5 square. So knight e2, you're wanting to exchange the knight, but it only helps black, I think, if you take on d4, which here was actually a mistake even, yeah, because this knight now gets c5 square after this. So instead of taking, you should slowly maybe improve the position still. Maybe I admit the error, yeah, and go back to this, because tempos doesn't really matter so much, yeah. In this close position, you could maybe go back. But here you gave away c5 square. Maybe you should still go here, yeah. But knight now is excellently placed on c5, so went knight g4 instead, knight c5 back here. And now black is kind of okay, very much okay in this game. He went g5. You exchange some minor pieces, yeah, good idea to get rid of this powerful knight. But here you made another mistake. f4 is just way too optimistic move and actually loses a pawn, because you're opening the bishops too much, yeah. He has, even this bishop is terrible, but still got opened. So, but you should play instead slow maneuvering game, yeah. Remove the knight, don't let him capture your knight, exchange it, and maybe organize in future. I would like very much to exchange these light square bishops, yeah, but for the moment we cannot. So maybe some slow maneuvering game, maybe even queen f1, yeah, and exchange these bishops. See, if we manage to do that, we will have a big advantage, yeah. It will be again this better knight versus terrible bishop on g7. So instead f4 happened, which lost a pawn after this nice move. Now pawn is gone, and you can exchange everything, maybe hoping for a draw. Pawn down, he went here, and now you made a bad sack, I think, but it actually worked in the game, yeah. You sacked knight for 2 pawns, but this shouldn't work, yeah. This shouldn't work. Here opponent blundered already. From a winning position he got draw only, so he should just play bishop f5, and he's basically up a piece. I don't see any continuation, like, for white, what to do next. He will start maybe just defending and exchanging pieces, yeah, and this is bad for white. So he missed that. He went here, but totally missed this check, I think. And now you're having at least a draw, yeah. Engine shows a draw here because of perpetual, probably. You can do a perpetual maybe here. H4, excellent move, yeah, threatening mate. And the final blunder, which lost the game for opponent. He had the only move here, not to get checkmated, yeah. He had to do this, but then you have a, then you take his bishop, and the game should end in a draw, actually. He goes here, and takes the bishop. Now if you take with the pawn, it's gonna be perpetual. But a very funny line I found is queen takes. Queen takes with white can make actually a draw. Looks like we're losing from the first sight. Yeah, because if we let even capture him these pawns. Yeah, so here we are holding. Yeah, if he doesn't push d3, we just stand still with white. If he does push, looks like he's winning, yeah? Coming in with the king and outmaneuvering us, outflanking. But we have this famous this famous stalemate trap in the pawn endgame. Very, very cute. Yeah, stalemate. Otherwise, he cannot even approach us. Yeah, stalemate again. If he does something else, we just move back and forth. Yeah, stalemate. So very funny line I kind of found. But yeah, he needed to play this bishop f5. But you were very low. Well, actually, he was not low on time. He had like 4 minutes, so I don't know. And he played it like in 3 seconds, so this was a bad blunder. He definitely needed to think your opponent. He played very fast here, queen h5 in a couple of seconds, yeah? So this was like a critical moment, this position. So you definitely need to take time in critical positions, yeah, to think, not just bliss out any nonsense, yeah, like this. So yeah, this cost him the game, yeah, this quick play. He had like 4 minutes, you had 40 seconds actually, yeah. So lucky for you, you won with the checkmate, yeah, here. So let's summarize this very interesting game. So English botvinnik setup happened, yeah. I included HSPGN for you, so you can check more the theory how to play as white, yeah. Maybe it will become more clear about the plans, but I kind of explained, yeah, a bit those in this review. So overall, opponent didn't play so well, yeah. He allowed this b5 move, and he should have fought back more actively, I think. And then he got this space at the disadvantage, and knight on a5, yeah, like, where is this knight? Yeah, he went even back with this knight. This was a bad knight, yeah. He should have just went here. Okay, but other things, third thing, yeah, knight d4 was a mistake, yeah. So this move, let's see what happened, yeah, what these mistakes were from your side. Knight d4, yeah, definitely a mistake, allowing him knight c5. From terrible knight, suddenly he became wonderful knights, yeah. So don't trade, yeah, don't make these bad trades, yeah, for opponent to improve pieces. What other things? This knight g5, yeah, f4 was a mistake, yeah, too optimistic, lashing out. You needed to play slowly, yeah, closed position, slow maneuvers, and yeah, patience is key, yeah, in slow positions. So, and finally this you kind of sacked, yeah, wanted to do something, just sacked the knight, which was actually a mistake again, because you could have lost the game, yeah, because of it. So okay, these were the mistakes, but the main takeaway, I think, from this game, yeah, what we can learn is take it slow when in closed positions and you have more space, yeah. Try to maneuver and let opponent make some nonsense move, yeah, like lash out with some f5, like happened in this game, yeah, weaken his position. We're waiting, yeah, we're slowly maneuvering, improving the position. We're waiting for such rash moves, yeah, from opponent. So, and of course exchanging the right pieces, like we want light square bishop gone, yeah, we want to keep knights in close positions. So I hope this review helped, yeah, to understand this botvinnik setup a bit, and see you next time. Bye bye.